of it, you know.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to definitely not an exciting day. I'm, I'm starting to get worried. So our neighbor passes away, and of course that's affecting me. And then there's a page on Facebook, a brats page, for what do I mean by brat? For
Army
the
brats.
yeah, military brats. You know, my wife's dad he wasn't a career
He was a
man, but he
career, but he was
served.
on Army Air Force.
Yeah, he was Army Air Force, and not many people can say that. My dad, on the other hand,
That's
was
the Army Air Corps.
Army Air Corps. See,
The Army Air Corps.
so that's even fewer people can say that. As for me, my dad was a career man. And then you have Shirley Temple, who died, Sid Caesar, who died, and then our neighbor. Um, is my mother going to die? People die in groups. It seems like people die in groups. Like my wife said, threes. And our neighbor, Sid Caesar, and Shirley Temple. Frankly, at this point in time, I don't need my mother to die. Why am I worried about that? And maybe I've been worried about it, and it's just from time to time it builds up to a crescendo, and then it goes down again.
See, probably one of these is like my great aunt. If my great aunt is still alive, and I wouldn't be surprised if she is, she's kicking 100 at least.
Yeah. Because
She's one of these.
she's
Probably
not.
gonna beat up on the devil if she goes down there.
Yeah, it's like the doctor said. My mother's physically, her organs and everything were fine.
It's just mental.
Yeah, but then she had the Alzheimer. She has the
Well, they can
Alzheimer.
keep them going with that though.
Yeah.
I know.
So, what, Ronald Reagan, 15 years or something like that, he had Alzheimer's?
Yeah, I think so.
Which I think, from my time in hospice, not as a hospice patient, but as a hospice volunteer, at least back then, we're talking the 90s.
How often did you have to go out to patients?
Almost every day.
Oh gosh. I thought you were more of the office.
Eventually, it was mostly office. I just couldn't handle it anymore.
Yeah.
284
million.
284 million.
Well, that's when they printed this freaking. No telling me what it's worth today.
This is just to get on to something other than this freaking death
If we
thing.
get the Powerball, we might have to buy Liz a little house.
Yeah.
Make sure she ain't homeless.
Yeah. I want to build us a castle. Yes.
Yeah.
Literally. Well, okay. This is my idea. A tower house.
You're gonna make sure it has good heating.
Yes. Oh yeah. I mean, it's gonna
be
be
good heating up here.
I mean, it won't be hooked up to the town or the city or anything like that. We'll have solar panels and we'll have wind generators and all that great stuff. But it'll be a tower house. For those who know, if you don't know what a tower house is, Google it. And then we'll have there'll be 3 sections. Oh gosh, what do they call those areas? The Baileys. The upper Bailey, and you have like an upper and a lower Bailey. We'll have 3 Baileys. The upper Bailey will be ours, which will be immediately outside the tower house.
Just make sure you have a bathroom on each floor.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, it'll be.
I mean,
yeah.
Don't do that to me, or
I
will have to smack you.
No, I mean, it'll be as modern as we can do it, which is pretty modern. It's just the only difference from say how we live now is that we would have solar and wind generators to take care of things. But the upper Bailey, which would be like our courtyard, if you will be definitely large enough to have a garden for us, just for us, which will be over 2,000 square feet of usable garden space.
Well, we can get the damn shit to grow, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we've decided not to try a garden this year. I mean, we just waste money doing it. We've done it for 2 years, and
they just don't grow. You don't get enough sun.
No. And then there's the second Bailey, or the
We don't have a good
The Middle Bailey.
area.
Let's call it the Middle Bailey. The Middle Bailey will be like where the what do they call that one building? The Great Hall is. That'll be the Great Hall and offices and meeting rooms and stuff like that. Then you'll have the Lower Bailey, which will be the largest section, which you'd have you have four sides, but the fourth side is our Tower House and whatnot. The North Building would be 2 floors. The ground floor and the first floor would both be residential. The building to the west, whatever it winds up being, let's just say for now, the building to the west would be 3 floors, if possible, plus a basement, and that would be all nothing but library, just one huge library. And then the south-facing building, which would only be 1 floor, with like an attic. What would be the attic space would actually, the outer portion would still be defensive, but that would be livestock, feed, storage, stuff like that. I would like to have a 7-day-a-week cafe, but that would be in the second Bailey, because the Lower Bailey is residential, shops, livestock.
We're gonna have an army of cats to patrol it too.
Yeah, and the
Well, that's
library.
nice down.
Yeah, so the Middle Bailey would be offices, the cafe, the Great Hall, and all that kind of stuff. And once a year, we would have a big fair for like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, whatever we wound up deciding together. And that would be outside and inside the castle. So you'd have the lower. It wouldn't be an our part of the castle, because that's our private section. But the Middle and the Lower Bailey would include that, plus outside of the castle. I would prefer a water moat, a wet moat, not a dry moat, but that would be extremely costly.
And we can't keep an alligator in there, damn it.
Yeah, we can't keep no gators in there.
They wouldn't like the cold weather up here.
No. There's a hotel in San Antonio. It's actually a very expensive, fancy hotel. I've only been in there like once during there was a seminar that I went to. In the courtyard, they used to keep gators in there. I'm glad I'm glad there were no gators when I went to that seminar, because I'm like, oh my gosh.
Where was that, a hotel?
Yeah, it's right next to the Alamos. The Granger, the Ginger,
Something.
yeah, oh my gosh, I can't. It's a very famous hotel. The Rough Riders, whatever Roosevelt and the Rough Riders, Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders, they stayed there. He recruited some of the Rough Riders there, which tells you how the hotel has changed, over time. But the Minger Hotel, that's the name of it. Yes, there are a lot of Germans in Texas, especially the Hill Country, and then slightly expanding that outside the Hill Country, is they migrated to the Hill Country, and then from there they kind of migrated. Yeah, I'd like to build a castle. A lot of it wouldn't be truly historically accurate, but it would still be a castle. I just hope this whole death thing is, I hope I'm just overdoing it in my head.
You're just